Hey, family. It's Karen and Kat today. My girl Karen is traveling, so she may pop in when she get a second. But we are here right now today with a phenomenal man. He is the principal of South Gwinnett High School. We are joined with Dr. Jordan. What's going on, Dr. Jordan?
Hey, how we doing? Thank you for having me.
Yes. I am so glad you're here. So we're gonna just jump right into it. I want
Absolutely.
you to tell our listeners a little bit about your background and include your why did you become a principal.
Oh, wow. 20-year educator. Formerly was in law enforcement, relocated here to Georgia about 19, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Originally just looking for a job. I come from a family of educators. Both of my parents were educators, and I kind of had that hard head. My mother used to tell me that I had the spirit of a teacher, if you
Uh,
will. Well, because my parents were educators, I of course didn't want to be it. So came
uh-huh.
down here, really needed a job, had got laid off, and I started teaching.
Mm-hmm.
My bachelor's degree was in criminal justice. There was a teacher job fair. I started teaching, and as they say, I got the bug, and I became addicted to it. It quickly became a passion of mine, and
Mm-hmm.
when I had other opportunities, I just decided I wanted to stick this thing out in education. So I've been a principal now, going into my ninth year. So I've been a teacher, assistant principal, and obviously now principal. And
Mm-hmm.
I love what I do. And my why is I believe that one of the greatest impacts that you can have, on our society is shaping the lives of students, specifically at the high school level, just that adolescent stage. They're just, I view it as a fork in the road, and you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to shape their trajectory, and to be a part of that is it's a feeling that's for me is undescribable.
Wow. Now you did work in some other districts when you
Mhm.
came down here before Gwinnett. And you talked about your family having that history, and I know I read an article where you spoke about your son and
Mhm.
making the decision to go to come to Gwinnett.
Mhm.
um what vision did you have when you were stepping into this role?
The vision really is to create. Well, for me, was to create as much opportunity
Hmm.
as I could for students. When you talk about even, uh, my vision, that's so apropos because I've been talking about that all day with my faculty. Today was the first day back, and so I view the vision in really three core areas, and those areas are education, experience, and exposure.
Hmm.
We really want to make sure that we make a mark in the lives of students as it relates to them shaping their trajectory. When I talk about education, that vision is to make sure that all students receive a quality education at South Gwinnett High School. That's talking about all the nuts and bolts that literally go into the classroom, making sure that our students are equipped with the knowledge and the skill set that they need, not just to be successful at South Gwinnett High School, but to be able to compete with students around the state, around the nation, and around the world. And then when we talk about, experiences, what else is it that we can do to give them experiences that they wouldn't otherwise had they not stepped foot in South Gwinnett High School? And then exposure. What is it that we can expose them to that's going to help them reach the next level? I'll give you a typical example of what I'm talking about. For those that may not know, we are an academy school. We're made up of 5 academies where students can pick a specialization, an area of specialty to kind of support the interest that they may have. And so in our health and human science academy, we had an opportunity to have a partnership with some local hospitals and even some out-of-state hospitals where our
Hmm.
students that, let's just say they wanted to be a nurse or a doctor or anesthesiologist or what have you, they had an opportunity to partake in 2 live surgeries. And what I mean by
Hmm.
live surgeries, they had an opportunity to be on live screen as doctors and hospital staff are performing a surgery. Not only do they get an opportunity to witness the surgery, but the doctor is talking to the students and walking them through every step
What?
of the surgery. And then
What?
at the end of the surgery, they had an opportunity to have a Q&A with the surgeons, the nurse practitioners, the surgical
Mhm.
staff, the anesthesiologists that sat there and answered any and other questions that we have. So that exposure piece is so valuable, because for some students, it was a hook. Oh man, I love this. I really want to, become a doctor. And then for some students, when they saw that tumor get removed and they saw all of that blood, maybe not too much. I might want to.
They're like, yeah, get me up out of here.
Right, but that's just a typical example of that exposure piece to help them shape their trajectory.
Amen. I'm glad you brought that up, doctor, because and I'm gonna have to call you Dr. Jordan, because you work hard. You work hard for that. So we're gonna go ahead and keep throwing in that Dr. Jordan.
All right.
How did you go about, because building that relationship is so important, and I know that you are a community man. What's your strategy in building those relationships with business leaders to bring those jobs, those things that kids are going to need, our future leaders are going to need, and make sure you're aligning them with what the students want?
Excellent question. And it is so simple that most people wouldn't even believe me. I have two words for you. Just ask. That is literally what we do. We have a variety of people that come to the table that serve as a think tank for the school. We come up with ideas. We poll our students. We give them a litany of surveys every year to find out what they need, what they're interested in, what they desire to have. And we literally hit the pavement and we just ask. And the community that we're in here in the city of Snellville has been so ingratiating in supporting our students, not only in their endeavors while they're in school, but also supporting their post-secondary endeavors. And just that simple strategy of just asking has yielded results that we wouldn't believe. That's how even the hospital partnerships came into play. We just picked up the phone and asked and said, hey, is it possible that our students could witness a live surgery? And I'm thinking they would go down to the hospital and kind of stand behind the glass and look at it. And it was like, sure, we'll Zoom you guys right on in. And then they're asking us what we need and how we would like to shape that experience for our students. And so that simple strategy, as simplistic as it is, it has served us very well.
Wow. You're doing it. And I just want to make sure I take a pause and digest this. You're saying that they weren't behind the glass up top looking down. They were that close. Like, is that what you're saying to me, Doctor?
They were right, zoomed it right in on the screen.
Wow, that is amazing. So it's like they can just touch it, breathe it, and they were actually able to do that. I always got to give a shout out to my homeboy Ryan Cox, who had a nonprofit, Gwinnett County Outreach, where he was very intentional from 13 to 18 years of age, mentoring folks and bringing those young people to real world experiences on the job, so that when we talk about work ethics and being professional, what do those buzzwords mean? Because to them, they're just words, but we need to try to, show them what that actually means, because you educators do an amazing job with preparing them with the school to, math, science, and reading. But then there comes us mentors and the village to help build character.
Absolutely.
And you need that. And what's your strategy in school right now to try to couple that? Because you are a community leader, you are a faith-based. I know you are a frat, you a Greek.
Absolutely.
How do you help mold these young leaders and instill in them some character so they can stop fighting, so they can run away from the drugs and the things that don't serve them well? What type of policies or practices do you implement in your school?
Oh, well, we are open to a litany of mentorships. We have Black Girls Rock. We have, a lot of the Divine Nine, Kappa Alpha Psi, the greatest fraternity in the world, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Now, my co-host, she got that blue on. She that Zeta now.
Okay, all right. Even our school district has a school district-based mentoring program. We partner with a number of nonprofits, but we're also trying to take this on from a local standpoint too. One of the things that we're launching this year, and that was a perfect segue, is our South Gwinnett High School master classes. Because you brought up an excellent point. primarily as educators, we know we give them the basics, the tools of the trade as it relates to their education. But one of the questions that we asked ourselves as a leadership team is how can we support our students with developing those soft skills that you speak of, talking about work ethic, study habits, developing positive relationships, maintaining healthy relationships, financial literacy, interview skills, etc. And so we're launching this year is our South Gwinnett High School master classes.
Okay.
And this has been 2 years in the making. And that's when we're going to take our advisement period, which is a 90-minute block of time, 2 days a week. And we're going to begin to offer classes on these specific topics to our students to ensure that they're just not developing as scholars, but they're developing as people.
I know that's right. Can you please talk about one of your programs? I know South Gwinnett gained some attention when you did the hallways. What was it when you pulled the desks in the hallways? Can you speak to what sparked that idea and what type of feedback did you receive from the student, staff, and even the parents when you launched it?
Oh, wow. Excellent question. Well, anytime a principal takes over a school, you're kind of debriefed, if you will, on what you're walking into. And so when I received that debrief, there was some concerns coming from the community about the culture and climate of the school. And you're talking about a large school in our school with right around 3,000 kids. And this campus, is a block long. We are living in an age of teacher burnout where teachers feel unsupported. Statistic and research says that there are more people leaving the field of education now, than ever before, while on the other end of the spectrum, not many people are enrolling in college to major in education. So the ultimate question I ask myself is, what is it that we can do as a leadership team to, number one, ensure that we have a safe, secure, and orderly environment, and simultaneously make sure that our teachers feel supported so that we can keep our teachers, because we all know teachers aren't growing on trees. So if you have some good ones, you want to make sure that you retain those. And that really, that idea came to me, for it to be a one-stop shop for teachers to have support. If you need an administrator, if you need a leader, if you need assistance, all you have to do is step to the door, and that support and that assistance is immediately there to resolve whatever you need so that you can be the best version of yourself as a teacher to pour into our kids every day in the classroom. It was different. It wasn't met with resistance. It was more so met with, okay, where is he going with this?
Right. Okay, like I ain't. Oh, this is a good idea.
Right.
Right.
And I asked my staff when I first came here. I said, if you just give me your trust, I promise you that we'll be celebrating in the end. And so it created a mass presence. It created a culture of organization, structure, safety, and security where there is no place on this campus where a student can turn and an adult is not there. And it started out, we all have teenagers in our lives, be it nieces, nephews, sons, daughters. So it started out, man, they doing too much.
These kids, they be like, you just too much. You just doing too much.
Right. But it developed into such relationship building and camaraderie. Initially, they felt like it was a very suffocating type of monitoring, but it turned into a high five and a conversation in the hallway because I thought I bombed that biology test, but I actually did well. Or it turned into, look, Dr. Lawal, this is the dress that I'm getting for prom. What do you think? Or it turned into, Mr. Glover, what can I do? Can you help me get this internship, over the summer? And it turned from supervision into relationship, very quickly. And one of the things that my administrators articulated to me is that these 2 school years, they have known more kids personally by a first and last name basis than they can remember in a long time. So it just created an overall great family environment.
I love it. I got to just do a shout out right fast because
no doubt.
We comments over here.
I'm trying to tell you, represent.
We comments over here because you normally see my little orange on my thing, but I had to represent with my little
no doubt.
Yeah, I got track gear, football
I
gear,
love it.
swim and dive gear. So everybody in my household graduated from South. So we comments over here. And of your mentorship group, I am a part of South Gwinnett Cluster Mentor. So I have a student in the halls of South Gwinnett as well. So yeah, we got big ups. We doing big things. And my girl, she's a mentor as well. About to add her. She on the stage. There she go. There she go. Hey,
Hey,
Queen.
how
Coming
you
Hey,
doing?
later.
planes, trains, and automobiles. That's all I'm saying.
I know, right?
If you've
Listen,
seen the movie, you understand. I'm traveling, and so it was just like everything that could go wrong went wrong. So, but I'm here.
look, you made it. Look, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
go ahead and jump in with whatever question you have, sis, since you jumped on board. We just was wrapping up about how great South Gwinnett is, and he talked about how he just wrapped up about doing the hallway girl and how it turned into a great relationship building. And I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. And our kids are his priority, and we need educators who are actually doing that, and you making a huge difference in not only these kids lives but the community. What's your feedback from your parents?
Oh,
I was just
it's
thinking
been
that.
it's been overwhelming support. The South Gwinnett community has not only received me, but they have supported me in ways that I is beyond my wildest imagination.
Mm.
The outpouring of love and support, and this is how you know when you have true support, because all conversations are not necessarily the most conversations. Sometimes when you're dealing, with teenagers and really trying to provide that structure and lead them down the right path. When I knew the support was real, was when sometimes when you have to get on to somebody's child, and sometimes they may
Right.
receive that consequence, and the parent is sitting there like, "That's right, Mr. Jordan." You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, the support is real. But it's just been great. It is the path that we're on has really brought the community together, has galvanized everybody, and we just have some great traction and momentum right now, and I'm loving every second of it.
I love
Yeah.
that. So, Dr. Jordan, what year are you in at South Gwinnett?
This is year 3. The
Year
official
three.
kickoff is today.
Have you seen any correlation between the changes that you've made and test scores yet?
Absolutely. Let me a few data points. So I can't speak specifically to the test scores because they are still embargoed right now. So
Hmm.
the state has not released them. So we're under strict advisement not to discuss specifics. But I can say
Really?
the correlation is there. Specifically, one that I can speak about right now is our graduation rate. When I came in my first year, we walked into a 76.3, which I knew immediately for this community was not good enough, and I knew it was not
Amen.
a true representation of the potential of this community. We made some tweaks, figured out some additional ways that we could support students in recovering credit should they so happen to falter and maybe fail in the course or not being as successful as they thought. And in 1 year, we were able to jump from 76.3 to 87.3.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
And then fast forward to this year, our goal, we told the community within 3 years we wanted to be at a 90% or higher. This is year 3. We're in the cohort cleanup season, which means that the final calculations are going on even as we speak. And I received the update today. We are right around 89% as we speak. And so we're fully expecting once the final numbers are in to be right around that 90 or above mark.
I know that's right.
Beautiful.
Let me see if I can get a what you do, the little hand clap. I can't find it. Look, I'm trying to get you a little hand clap, child. I'm trying to find a little hand clap. That's great. I'm so proud
Absolutely.
of
So,
you. You know what? And our kids can do it.
Yep.
Our kids, we
100%.
got some smart kids, and that's why I was saying earlier. I'm tired of people talking about South Gwinnett in the bad light. You ain't heard nothing. You don't hear no chirps now. They're doing a great job now. Everybody's
yeah.
saying, no, we're about to
And
sound the alarm because our students are
Absolutely.
doing great.
Absolutely.
so, because when things are bad, that's what you hear about. But when things are going well, no
Right.
one ever toots their horn.
Mhm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when something goes wrong, people always want to come out and be loud about that, but they don't always want to give applause when things are going well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we give you your applause, Dr. Jordan.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate
Because as I'm sure Catherine has told you, we both have raised children. And she in the South Gwinnett cluster, I'm in the Shiloh cluster.
you.
My oldest son went to South Gwinnett when we were zoned for South Gwinnett, and then my younger two went to Shiloh and graduated from Shiloh.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mentor.
I give back by mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
After my kids graduated, but you know what Kat and I always say is you can't talk about what these kids are doing and what they're doing wrong if you're not willing to be a part of the solution. So that's what made us get into the school and mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is my second year coming back with the same crew. So I'm sticking with. I started in middle school, and I want to follow the two girls that I have. I want to follow them through high school.
Love it.
If they're still, if they still, are interested and still want to participate, that's my goal.
Yes. Absolutely.
And that's how mine transitioned. Mine transitioned from 8th grade to 9th grade at South, and then now I have 7th graders and 8th graders, and they're going up one, and my 8th grader going to South said, "I don't want you." I said, She's like, And I said, "Well, I'm gonna have this conversation with mom and dad. You ain't getting rid of me."
Right.
I'm be low key walking around saying, "Hey."
I know. Let me throw this out there too. This just came back to my mind, and this is the perfect platform for this actually to be known, because again, historically, there's been a culture and climate struggle here at the school, but this is how far we've come as a team. Looking at the discipline trend data, when you talk about, what kids could possibly be doing wrong, getting suspended, getting detention, in school suspension, out of school suspension, referrals, all those things, we have had tremendous decreases in the past 2 years. So much so that the district has recommended us to the state of Georgia for the PBIS state recognition. PBIS stands for Positive Behaviors and Supports. We've been recommended for the state honor of being a PBIS distinguished school because of the culture and climate that our students have supported us in establishing. So that lets community members know this is one of the safest schools. This is one of the most secure schools and the most orderly schools that your scholar can attend, not only in the district, but in the state. And we've received that recommendation. And so we'll find out from the state of Georgia by the end of the month if we will officially receive it. But to even be nominated for it is such a huge honor.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, we need to celebrate that. We need to celebrate that now. I'm glad. So does Conversations with Karen and Kat, are we the first ones to know about that? We got an exclusive with Dr.
100%. You got an exclusive.
That's what's up. Y'all heard it first on Conversations with Karen and Kat, that South Gwinnett received that esteemed award, that nomination. So that's good. Now, what do we do to find out what's going to happen when you roll out, and how do you know when you find out when you win?
The state of Georgia will just send the correspondence to the district on whether or not we receive that designation, and the district will let us know. They told us that we'll know something by either the end of the month or the very top of September.
I hope
the end of the month in August. I'm sorry.
I hope it's a ceremony where you receive an actual certificate or something, or a
plaque. I know, so you can get your flowers.
I'm positive it will be.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to get out. Make sure you keep us aware of that, so we can, let everybody know. We can show up if it's open to the public, and have you back when you receive it.
I love it. Absolutely. I'll be here.
Yes. Dr. Jordan, I have one other question. Are you anticipating any budget cuts with from federal funding?
Not at this time. However, as stated, that the aura is just unstable right now. We haven't received any indication that that'll be such, but we also know that could change at any time. The district has been awesome in supporting us. After a thorough review of our special education program, we received actually 22 extra allotment points, which means we were able to hire 22 additional teachers to help support SPED program. So I definitely got to give a shout out to Gwinnett County Public Schools. I got to give a huge shout out to our interim superintendent, Dr. Al Taylor, and the whole cabinet. When they say, and I can honestly say this because I've worked in several districts, when GCPS says that their focus is on equity, I promise you, they're not just talking, because as a local building leader, I can emphatically say that I feel the support for our babies here in this school.
Okay, that's very good.
Nice.
Oh, very good to know. I'm glad. I am glad to hear that, honey. Well, I will say this. Tell everybody how they can reach you. Parents can reach you with your contact information.
Absolutely. The best way to reach me, you can hit me in the email, rodney.jordan@gcpsk12.org. You can go on to our website. If you want a personal meeting with me, you can call up to the school. Our number's on the website. My wonderful AA, Ms. Bowens, will get you on the calendar, and we can have some great conversations and get you all the info that you need.
I'm loving
Wonderful.
it. So make sure, family, y'all go out to South Gwinnett HS, which is high school, .gcpsk12.org. So that's South Gwinnett HS .gcpsk12.org. And you can find our lovely Dr. R. Jordan, principal of South Gwinnett High School. Now, you know, we can't let you go before I ask a question that we always ask all of our clients or guests. We're trying to eliminate the stigma with mental health. And you are over so many students and educators in a high stressful environment. A lot of kids are struggling with mental health. And the way in which we combat that is we share our own stories. We let people know that they are not alone, and that it is power in unity, it's power in sharing your story and letting people know that you are sick, that you aren't feeling well, that you are depressed, that you have anxiety, so that you can get the wraparound services available to you. So with that being said, what is your go-to mental health practice with all the things that you do to manage your day and to stay healthy and stay connected?
I'm gonna tell you this: just intentional self-care, and it has taken me years to be able to get to this point. I'm almost ashamed to say, but I'm going into my ninth year as principal. I went on a couple of vacations this year, and this is the first time I actually took some time out to just relax and enjoy myself. And since I've been a principal, almost a decade, I just think it is about being intentional about providing that protected time to really just take care of you. That question is so apropos because I even put to my some members of my administrative team today with my assistant principals. I told them that I'm going to create a Padlet, and it was going to be mandatory that every month they're going to have to upload something that they have done that's in the realm of supporting their mental health via self-care. It's so important because in order for us to, really support our students and pour into them, we've got to be the best versions of ourselves.
Absolutely.
And so it's just carving out that protected time. Sometimes it's having a cutoff. I'm leaving at 4:30, no matter what. The work will be here in the morning, and just to make sure that we're leaving that intentional space to really pay attention to our mental health.
I'm glad you led that too, because I surely was going to ask, do you have anything for your students and teachers as well to help with that process? Because I was at South Gwinnett. Karen, if you was with me too, Silence the Shame event that was happening at South Gwinnett. And, a lot of young people, even on our show, we had some young folks that started a nonprofit about silencing the shame as a mental health practice. Remember those young ladies? I know you do, Karen. And so we have some great young people that's really in tune with that. And they're smarter than me. I wasn't thinking about that kind of stuff. It took me in my adult years to realize, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
that, I was suffering from mental health issues. So kudos. And I'm glad that you're prioritizing that, because we need to start talking about it, because I don't want our children to suffer in silence.
100%.
Absolutely. Dr. Jordan, it was so lovely, even though I had an abbreviated time with you, to sit here and talk about the highlights of South Gwinnett High School and all the positive impacts that you're having at the school. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here and chat with you ladies today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
As always, it was a pleasure speaking with you. And thank you to our listeners for joining us on this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Where we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.